You know, I was just talking about what I call the program of biology. I was talking about natural selection. I was talking about like how we were kind of natural. I was talking about biology and how it pretty much does whatever works. And at this point in time, we're pretty much what works because we're like the dominant fucking species on the planet. And at this point, we kind of artificially select stuff. Like shit, we decide if we want to leave this forest or if we want to cut it down. You know what I mean? We decide if we want to fucking this dog that looks like this, we want to breed it or not. If we want this tomato that looks like this or not. We want this marijuana strand to, be fucking bred or not. So at this point, we're the dominant species, and our artificial selection, to some large extent, is kind of like the new natural selection. Not always, because we're not like totally up in every fucking crevice of everything. But to some degree, we're playing a part in the selection process. And so if you look at that, what do we select things for? There's a criteria with whatever it is. We're fucking trying to get the best, most dank ass weed. Sorry, I like weed. I like marijuana. Marijuana's a badass plant, by the way. It's fucking great. Cannabis, no joke. I don't even smoke weed. People don't believe that. I used to when I was young, but I just love smelling it. I love weed. I think it's an awesome plant. I love plants. I love blackberries. But what do we select for? It depends on really what you're trying to do. A lot of people like Red Delicious apples. They were selected for their color, not necessarily because they're so delicious. And I think other crops like that, like corn, they used to be little tiny things and now they're like huge. So size, stuff like that. So depends on criteria, what you're trying to get. And, to some degree that might be based on opinion. What do people want? What do people want? Big old things of corn? They want the sweet corn, or they want high nutrient corn. They want, what type of marijuana you want? The one that makes you lazy or makes you fucking indica or salvia? Or, whatever. Type of apple you want? Pretty for your freaking table decorations or delicious because you want delicious apples? You know what I mean? So the selection process really depends a lot on opinion to some degree. And you could talk about that with a lot of stuff. Like your dog breeds, what type of dogs are popular, so that what that comes down to is, the opinion. The opinion is a little bit important in it all. And so maybe there's a trend all of a sudden to have pit bulls. I've seen that recently. People just started to love pit bulls, and then there we go, breed pit bulls, go on and so forth. Maybe everybody's gonna love pit bulls so much and forget about all these other dogs like the poodles and whatever. I don't like poodles, no offense. I like pit bulls better than I like poodles. I like German shepherds. I like me a big old German shepherd, you know what I mean? People have opinions. Some people like poodles, you know what I mean? But at some point maybe the opinion will be the natural selection that causes the extinction of the bottlenecking event. This one survived because we are now the new natural selection. And we like pit bulls. We're gonna breed pit bulls. The poodles, we don't really care. Maybe somebody will keep a strand alive somewhere down there. Maybe some old types of ghetto ass weed that people don't really like, they'll keep planting it just because they like it personally. Maybe somewhere along, and that's important because somewhere along the line we might say, hey, remember those weird looking dogs with all the poofy weird hair that had the weird haircuts that people gave them? Yeah, maybe we could, wonder what happened to them. Some random guy has one. Boom, got one. But it's also within the specific, you want to keep a good, healthy germline, whatever you want to call it, alive. I don't know, there's just some biological thought right now. We go further into opinion. It's gonna sound funny, but I'll even go here. I'm not trying to hold back. Opinion you could call it the new natural selection, but that could even go towards each other with humans. Sometimes maybe a guy is selected for his big build or something trendy, like tall, dark, and handsome, or a girl selected for because guys like badonkadonks today, and maybe we're like artificially selecting like badonkadonks when we should be artificial, selecting like other stuff. But you know, some people, they don't have kids. Some, like Nikola Tesla, one of the greatest inventors of all time. Most genius people, possibly the most genius person I've ever seen on the freaking face of the planet. He didn't have kids. It's like, dude, somebody should have, he should have had kids. And, but he didn't. Because I don't know why. I guess everybody was like, oh, what were the trends back in the day? Oh, I want a man who's nice and he acts this way and da-da-da-da-da. So even culture with stuff, you know, it goes into artificial selection and, you know, culture. Who's gonna have their genes passed on, you know? And stuff like that. Like, you got money, you're gonna be attractive to whoever or whatever, you know what I mean? And I'm telling you, that might not, I think that should be thought about. Like, I'm telling you, like, every girl is gonna have a badonkadonk next year. Like, I mean, come on, like, what? I don't know. A lot of people don't have kids, man. A lot of people don't pass on them genes. And Nikola Tesla, he's like a prime example. I'm like, dang, man, one of the most genius people that ever walked the face of the planet, and he didn't have any kids. Are you kidding me? Like, humanity, you're fucking up. You're fucking up, humanity, with your natural selection shit. You know what I mean? Your artificial selection. I mean, he had a lot of, believe me, no, he had a lot of girls that were trying to, you know, give him a little baby or something. I guess he was not trying to have it, I guess he just, I don't know why. But maybe it wasn't right, maybe, I don't know. Somebody should have made it right for that motherfucker. That motherfucker was genius. His genes needed to be passed on. He got some good batch of genes. I heard he had a brother. His brother died when he was young. You know, it's not just like, oh, it's just his mom and dad. You know, he got like he won the genetic lottery or some shit. And he was a exceptional fucking specimen, you might say. And, so yeah, man, people should not always be, you know, it's the opinion, it's these trends, the culture sometimes, like, I'm telling you, hey, man, I'm telling you, man, people should possibly be thinking about some, better traits than badonkadonk sometimes, you know what I mean, or whatever. Can't say too much, but, yeah. So I think people should be mindful of what they're selecting for in the world. Well, I mean, for multiple reasons, you know, like genetic diversity. You want to keep genetic diversity alive, but even with the genetic diversity, you want to keep healthy strains alive. Like, I'm talking about like weeb. I'm also talking like poodles and shit. Like, yeah, you want to keep poodles around, but you want to make sure you keep the best poodles around. You see what I'm saying? And stuff like that. And it's just something to think about. We've come to dominate the landscape so much. We are like the new we play a part in natural selection. We play a part in selection, a larger part than we have in the past. Like, we might go cut down an entire rainforest. That's stupid. You know what type of genetic diversity is in there? You know what types of like natural like defenses certain plants and stuff have made towards like certain bacteria and stuff that we could use in our medicine. You know, such genetic diversity, such a ecosystem with just so much stuff going on, you can find like a cure for this because this plant created a natural defense. You want to keep that stuff alive. You know, genetic diversity is huge. Maybe if you got some weirdo, some weird guy, okay, maybe he thinks so weird that maybe he just has a brain that thinks weird. He can pass on them genes, and eventually, you know, someone will come up and he'll just come up with genius ideas about random stuff that like changes the whole world. You know what I mean? Nikola Tesla might have been one of those guys. He's like, oh, I'm going to start thinking weird and think about electricity. And now we got cell phones and all types of crazy shit. You see what I'm saying? Dude, genetic diversity is important. Very important. And I wish Nikola Tesla had kids, man. Can we clone him? Can we go find, did he get I don't know. I don't want to be like that. But yeah, genetic diversity is pretty important for multiple reasons, you know. There's you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I mean, if everybody just has a badonkadonk, no brains. I'm not saying people with badonkadonks ain't got no brains, but you know, if we're selected for badonkadonk, maybe the I don't know. You know, genetic diversity is just important. I'll leave it at that. All right. Anyways. we got to be thinking about that as a human race, because we're playing a large part in the selection process. So it is what it is. I got a little family over here. Hopefully they don't come wander in my direction. I'm almost done with the video, so no problem. So it is what it is. I'll talk to you guys later, though. Deuces.